Good afternoon and welcome to today's afternoon edition. My name is Isa Nu. Today we shall be focusing and let me say also continuing from our earlier discussion on the issue of the Kogi State, Imo State and Bayelsa State off-cycle election. And as you know, before now, there are several issues and the issues are still beating in the front of every media space to see that yes, attention is given more with respect to how elections are conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission. So I'll just take you through this snippet. And the off-cycle elections are primarily determined by their deviation from the general election cycle. Nigeria returned to a democracy in 1999 and has held general elections every 4 years since then. But for different reasons, courts have overturned or changed some elections results, which has affected the elected officials' specified tenure. Currently, all off-cycle elections in Nigeria, especially when tied to contests managed by the Independent National Electoral Commission, are governorship contests. Section 180 subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution specifies that a governor vacates office 4 years from the date they first take the oath of office. In most cases, especially when an already serving governor wins at a tribunal or court, the term continues since they would have been sworn in during the original determined date. However, this changes if the court's decision leads to new governors taking office, especially if this person belongs to a party different to a new swearing-in date, to ensure that the term does not exceed or fall short of the 4-year term specified in the Constitution. The most disruption to the off-cycle governorship elections followed the 2007 races because the court overturned several results. In Bayelsa State and Kogi State, the governors were temporarily replaced by the speakers of the State House of Assembly before returning in election held in the year. So with the recency that is happening, Kogi State election still seems to be one of the major elections that Nigerians have been coming out to say they need to do, the right thing needs to be done. Just recently we invited people, guests from the civil society organization to tell us more with respect to their findings in Kogi State, and then we had the head of data collection in person of Mukhtar Modibo, who was the head of data collection in Kogi State, and he stated it clearly that there is that room that INEC should definitely improve based on the outcomes of results that came from the state. So today we've been having discussion with Shuaibu Abdul Kader, who is the national president, Nigerian Youth for Good Governance Initiative, YAGI, to tell us more with respect to the off-cycle election as expected, that of Kogi State. So let's go for this break, and when we return, we continue with the conversation.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite. This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 30.
Welcome back from the break. And just before the break, I did inform you that we'll be having Abdul Kadir Shuaibu, who is the National President, Nigerian Youth Advocacy for Good Governance Initiative. Good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon edition.
Good afternoon.
It's nice having you here today after the election was conducted in Kogi, Bayelsa and Imo State. Several issues have been coming up with respect to how the election was conducted. And if you listen to Mr. Femi Falana yesterday, he raised so many issues with respect to how we manage issues on the recent election that was just conducted. So what is your take generally on the issues of election, the off-cycle election?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moon. We are a group, civil society group. We have observer in every state of this country. When election is being conducted in any state, we always send our observer. They give us full report on how the election is being conducted in that state. But unfortunately, what happened between those three states is somehow bad, because the way the election was conducted, many people have been talking on the election is not credible. There is no free and fair election in some states. There is too much vote buying, harassment of voters, all sorts of things is happening. That's why we always call on INEC to look at all those factors so that the election will be improved one way or the other, because Nigeria is a democracy state and we need many things to happen, many good things to come up, so that at least when election is being conducted, nobody will be going to court complaining. That's why we are calling on the leadership of INEC, that is Professor Yakubu Momo, to look at the election generally and know what to do about them.
Okay, Yakubu Mahmoud, who is the present INEC chairman, have also stated that they've played their role in saying that yes, election is conducted in these three states, that's Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo State. But then recently we've discovered that the court, mostly the appeal court, has been upturning elections that were conducted and announced by INEC, like that of Kano and that of Plateau State. And then what do you really see happening in the future if we continue this way, whereby after election people go to court and then the election is upturned?
That is why we are always calling on the good governance, because in every situation, in everything we do in this country, if there is a good leadership in every sector of our country, things will go well. Imagine now Kano, they are in court. Jos, that is Plateau, they are still in court. Why? Because the election was not conducted well, properly. If even the election was conducted properly, all this will not come in. That's why we always advocate for the good governance, to make our democracy to be strong democracy, not this kind of democracy that tomorrow when we lose an election you go to court, before you know the court will give another person. It doesn't show good of us. Our future, the future of our kids, our younger ones is jeopardized. With that, we need to call on our leaders, that is the governments, to improve in INEC, so that everything will go smoothly. When elections be conducted, nobody will say, I lost election, let me go to court. I don't see any reason of going to court. If only the election is fair and credible, there is no way anybody will go to court. But because they are feeling so blind, that is why you see most of the people always go to court. And now, like this, appeal caller have given mandate that Abba Gida should see. Now they are looking at APC taking over the leadership of Kano, and that is not what we have been praying for. We as the youth of this country will always talk about leadership that will bring a credible and capacity leader that will bring a sustainable development in our state, our country entirely.
So now, being that you are part of the youth advocacy group and one of the major civil society organizations that have played role in this election, what were the findings you guys had after the Kogi State election and Bayelsa and Imo State?
Actually, I mean, Kogi State, I look at I went to more than 20 to 50 polling units. I saw what is going on in Kogi State, and we are not really happy about that because the vote buying, the harassment, and most of the way things is going. While we are happy because the Kogi election was so peaceful, but the way and manner they conduct the election, that is the only way we have a challenge there. Because the election was not free and fair. There is too much vote buying. And that is why we are calling on Professor Yakubu to reschedule and conduct another fresh election in Kogi State.
But then, if that's the case, we have several issues. You've stated that in some parts of the state there are issues of vote buying and drugs, but it's not all across the 21 local government in the state. So why they need to reschedule election in the whole of the state? And that will be very, very costly for government, most especially at this particular point in time when the government doesn't have enough fund to carry out such activities.
Actually, why we are calling on that, because the majority has been complaining. When there must be a wrong thing. When the wrong thing happen, it's not going to be everywhere. But what we specify is the majority. If the majority say that this thing has been going wrong, then there is need for us to reschedule the election, because we have the resources to do that. Nigeria has the resources to do that. Nobody will tell us that there is no money or there is nothing. We have everything to reschedule election there. We have the security, we have the manpower, we have everything. Because of that Kogi election, the engineer Olayinka Bremo was arrested, on warrant arrested. When he was about to go to his polling unit, he was arrested. For what? He's a candidate of Action Alliance. That is he was arrested. He did not even vote.
Was he caught with any material that is not supposed to be?
There is nothing.
So what were the reasons for the arrest?
That is up to now we do not know. That's why we are calling on the IG of police to intervene on that matter, because we don't even know why he is being arrested. If you will be acquitted to some TV station, you will see where Dino is complaining to. The PDP gubernatorial candidate is complaining that the election was not free and fair. And with this kind of thing, it means we are not going anywhere. There will not be a development in the state where everybody demands the election. That's why we are calling on the INEC to do the needful.
Do you think the problem lies with INEC or it lies with even the politicians in the state?
The politicians, the INEC, they are both stakeholders of the election. That is why we are calling of the both of them to come together and schedule the election, so that we will have a very credible and free election in Kogi State precisely.
So now, moving forward, you've stated that some persons were disenfranchised during the election, most of the candidate of that's the Action Alliance, yes. Engineer Brimo. Before the election, I knew he was going around to campaign. Could it be that because he lost in the whole of this election, that is one of the major reasons he's also coming out to say that, the election should be cancelled and then it should be rescheduled for another time? And that of Dino also, he did stated his reason, saying that it affected about 17 local government, the issue of either rigging or vote buying affected about 17 local, including his own local government, Ijumu. So in this particular case, now that there is a winner, don't you think it is the right time for them to all come together and support the leadership, the new governor that will be coming in person of Usman Ododo, for the state to move forward instead of this moving backward and then moving forward a bit?
We are still saying the same thing, Mr. Isa. Actually, if they believe that this election they lost honorably, all of them will go and support the governor so that the state will develop. But most of the candidates, they feel disenfranchised because, one, the ringing and the vote buying is too much in the state. That is why they are calling on, none of them will agree with the system that this election was free and fair. It's only the APC candidate, maybe because he's the winner, he will be happy. But most of the other districts, none of them congratulate him. You see, with that, we will not have a sustainable development in that state because they will not add their ideas to the leadership of the state to move on the state. All of them, they will just go aside. In some cases, they will even pray for him to fail his people. And why is fail his people, fail them equally. That's why we are calling for a free and credible election in the state.
But the governor is happy with the election. And we've seen that, yes, despite the fact that we have, in election we have winners and then we have losers. And let us look at the winners now. The governor applauded INEC for conducting a free and fair election, which you've also attested that there was security. Yeah. And the governor have also stated that, look, that now it is the time for the people to come together. If the governor of the state applauded the election, why should there be need for any other election if the governor feels that, yes, the governor and some stakeholders in the state feels that the election was peaceful, the election was open to everybody to contest, so why should there be this rancor for people to say this election should be cancelled?
Yeah, as it is now, Dino even said that when he contested first time for the Senate, he had more than 93,000 votes. That is just only his constituency. But now he's contesting in whole Kogi state, he has 46. How possible is that?
But people also raise questions that Dino, did he really campaign across the state? Did he really pull out resources to see that, yes, he wins the election? That's one question people have also asked. That even on that same day of the election, that there was that tendency that he did not even come out to even vote.
Yeah. Then the candidate of AA, if you made or to interview, you understand what he said about the arrest. They don't even give him the opportunity, the freedom to go and vote. How do you think a candidate will be going for his polling unit, he will be arrested for no reason? You understand? The state has a little bit situation on that. That's why they are calling on the cancellation of the election entirely, because he shows that there is a plan on APC to emerge. It's not free and fair. There is ringing, there is vote buying, there is intimidation of voters. Some people are scared not to come out to vote because they are feeling that there will be some level of harassment. You know, all these things, there is a factor that the INEC should look at, despite the fact the election is peaceful. But all those things is a factor that in the constitution we have to say they should revise the election so that they will conduct a free and fair election for the people of Kogi State.
But don't you think that is the more reason why we have the court?
Yeah, that is more reason. The court, most of them, I believe they may go to court, and that will take a lot period of time because court is not a one-day thing. But calling on INEC to reschedule the election is more better. If the INEC see the reason why they will give them the reason why they should reschedule the election. It's not better for them to reschedule the election so that everybody will come and cast its vote without any fear or favor.
But then last week, that was on Fridays to be specific, the elected governor in person of Usman Ododo was given his certificate of return. And don't you think it has come to that point whereby, look, every contestant in this election will say, well, he has been given the certificate of return. Now we should all dust our shoes and then make sure we have available all the evidences to go to the court to seek for a redress on the election.
So it depends on the people of Kogi State. They are the one to decide. We are just calling because we are the good people of Nigeria. We are the youth of this country. We really need anything good for the country. As youth, we know that Nigeria is a great country and we need every state in Nigeria to be great. That's why we are calling on all the authority. If there is any need for them to do the needful, they should do. But if everybody accepted that Ododo is the winner, and that is all. Well, it's okay by us. We don't have anything to do.
But as a civil society organization, you have information because you have people, you have your members across the state during the election. What do you think was the major problem that led to all this?
Yeah, the major problem is that INEC said they will use beavers for the election. And you know, at still sometimes, some places, some polling units, the beaver do not work. Most of them, or most of the election being conducted, they don't be using beavers. That's what is causing all this problem. People are saying that if you say you are going to use beavers, why now the beavers are not working?
Is it the beavers in terms of the reflection of the result, or the beavers as a system that also hates in during the election?
In the process of the election, the beaver is not working, and still here you see the result is different. The collection officer will bring the result, the one they will announce is different.
Where exactly in Kogi State did you notice some of these problems?
In Kababunu, precisely, because I was there. I noticed all that. That is why we are calling on the authority to do the needful.
In Kababunu, was there a major turnout by the voters in that particular axis, based on your observation?
Yeah, there is a turnout, but still there is a little bit intimidation, let me say, scared in their body. Not much of them are out to vote, and some people really want to come out to vote, but they feel no need because the system have already showed that it's one-sided. So they feel that even they voted with their vote without them voting, it's still the same. For that reason, no need for them to even come out and vote. Some people come out because they want to get money. They pay them to vote.
So people still collect money to go out to vote on that same day?
Yes.
Otherwise they won't go out to vote?
Yes. That's how the system is all about.
So what was your advice? Because you had encounter with some of these persons. How did you advise them to see reason why they shouldn't even collect money before they can be able to make sure that yes, they vote for the candidate they want? Or how were you people able to convince them to make sure that yes, they vote for the right person, irrespective of political affiliation or who gave them money or not?
Yeah, we always call our youth. We always organize a seminar, a sensitization program to let you know that you should not be looking for money for vote. If you want to vote somebody, you look at his credibility, character, and competency before you go out there to vote. Stop looking at what they are going to give you today. It will not last for that 4 years. But you know, the level of poverty in people's system, he shifts their brain not to even understand that capacity. They always go to just get that money. That is their aim and objective. If they come to, the moment they queue up to vote, they will ask, how much this social party is giving, how much this social party is giving. The highest bidder, they will vote for him and move. They don't care about what the government will do for them. And tomorrow, they are the same people who start complaining. That's bad governance, that's this, that's that.
Is it that they've lost interest in government or what government provides for them, or it seems like there's a disconnect between government and the people themselves?
It's not that they lost interest, it's just that they have no trust in the government. They have interest in the government, but there is no trust. Because they will tell you that the vote Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, but there has not anything changed. Why are they suffering themselves? Why are they queuing for a long period of time without getting anything? It's better for them to collect their money. Anything they want to do, they should go ahead and do it. That is what is happening with our youth. So every day we are sensitizing them, we are sensitizing our youth. No, always understand who is going to build this country, who is going to rehabilitate this country, who is going to develop this country for us, not to collect money. But you know, the moment you say that, some people understand, yeah, let's hear the manifesto of this political party, let's understand what these people are here for us. You know, some will say no, we have no trust. Even he, the moment he go back, he become a leader, he will change his character. Now it's because he's just campaigning. That is why all this is going on. He will be telling you all sorts of story. But the moment he has own power, that is all. So you have to continue sensitizing people. It's a continual process. We are not relying on anybody. We still continue telling people to vote with our money. Because when they pay you, you should expect a very bad result. But when you do not collect money, you vote according to for the competency and credibility, you will enjoy the leadership.
But in this particular case now, and you've seen things like this, where does this take us to if issues like this continue?
If issues like this continue, truly the country will go down. Truly, the country will not move forward. That is reality. We have to pray to Almighty God to give us the ability and the trust on our leaders so that we have a sustainable development.
Okay, so Shaibul Abdul Kadir is the National President, Nigerian Youth Advocacy for Good Governance, YAGI. We've been discussing on issues that has to do with the off-cycle election in Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa State, most especially what happened in Kogi, because that was where he was resident during the course of the election, and he got so many information which is dispensing at this particular hour of the day, just to make sure that yes, voters get to do the right thing, and also the result should reflect what the voters want. And he also raised issue with respect to one of the candidates of during the election, whose name is Engineer Brymok. Don't get that the full name. That's the candidate for the Action Alliance, Otumba Olayinka Brymok, who was detained and couldn't cast his vote on that same day of election. These are critical issues that definitely those responsible should be able to look out for and then make sure that yes, the best is done. So let's go for this break. When we return, we continue with the conversation.
The welfare of millions of people for generations to come may be affected by the wisdom which we here display. If Nigerian leaders and our British partners are to prove themselves worthy of their trust, now is the time for us solemnly and truly to dedicate ourselves to seeking the greatest good of the greatest number of our people in Nigeria. Independence for Nigeria in 1960 is imperative. But independence for Nigeria as a corporate entity is not enough. The peoples of Nigeria must at the same time be guaranteed their freedom. We must ensure that in an independent Nigeria, individual citizens throughout the land enjoy liberty, human dignity, and equality under the law. There must be one Nigeria with one constitution and one law for all. Let us therefore, Mr. Chairman, sir, close our ears to the counsel of despair, which says that we cannot here at this conference agree on a constitution. If there's any doubt among us as to what should be written into the constitution, let us, as Democrats that we profess ourselves to be, refer such problems, as the goal has done recently, to the people whom we profess to represent, either just before or at the federal elections late in 1959.
Welcome back from the break, and just before the break I did inform you that we are discussing the issue of the off-cycle election, and just recently, even as at yesterday, there was the issue of the upturning of the Plateau State election, and on Friday there was also that issue that has to do with Kano in the court. So several court issues seem to be upturning the results which were declared by INEC, and that calls for more question on how elections are being conducted in Nigeria, most especially when it has to do with the state election, and several issues also that has to do with that of Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi election. Kogi state elections seem to be taking the front burner due to the activities that probably, or let me say the calls that were made by the aspirant or the candidate of this political party, like that of the PDP, the SDP, and other political heavyweights in the state. And just yesterday, President Goodluck and Jonathan also raised critical issues on how election is being conducted, most especially off-cycle elections, stating that there is that need for that issue to be addressed in such a way that all the states will conduct their election on same day. And these are the ideas that is being brought forward to see that yes, we can move this country forward by making sure that yes, INEC address some of these issues that were raised. So let me quickly ask you, Abdul Qadir, on this same issue. In Kogi State, there are 21 local governments. And this 21 local government, Dino said there are about 17 local government. The election was not properly done, including his own local government. But from your findings, you mentioned Kaba. Apart from Kaba, are there no any other places where probably people were not satisfied, based on the report from your group? People were not satisfied about how things went in those locations.
Probably when it comes to Kogi State election, you see the Kogi Central, people have been complaining Kogi Central because the vote buying, the rigging, and the increase of the voters election, this what they call, is too much there, precisely, the Kogi Central. What happened there is very uncalled for because the result is being manipulated. You see, every polling they will bring the result, then they will change the results again. They will add some numbers, and that is not right. People have been complaining bitterly on that Kogi Central, even with the Kogi West. People have been complaining. It's not only the Kababu, just that one I specify on Kababu because I'm there. But people have been complaining. Our members are everywhere in the state. They are complaining about the election. There is rigging, there is vote buying, there is intimidation, and so on. To all that, we are always calling on government to look at those places. To if the election will not be conducted entirely the state, but those affected area, the election should be reconducted in that place.
Were people satisfied when the issues were raised during the coalition, and then INEC, yes, they said that they are going to address the issue, but later on they released a report with respect to that same election, and then they still went ahead to collate this result when people were still arguing that the process that it took them for them to be able to bring out those results from certain part of the state were not duly made available to the public. And then at the end of the day, results were announced from this same unit where people are complaining of.
Yeah, you know, INEC have no any objection of people. They always believe with their collation officers. The moment their collation officer give them their result, they will announce it. They don't care. But the fact still remains, the collation officer are not doing the right thing because they are being paid. The security there, they are being paid. They will announce anything they wish to announce because they don't want the development of the state. They are enemy of the state. If not, why will you see, for example, the 1,000 voters, you increase it, you say in social party have won almost 900. It means the only political party in that state. It's not possible. We have not been seeing that kind of result before. And this happened in the Kogi Central mostly. They inflate results. They inflate the numbers. That's why we are calling on INEC to go and back there to check what is going on, so that people will have a free mind. They will have freedom of. People have been talking on that this election is not credible, and this is the reason, stated all the reason why it's not credible. And INEC are not doing anything, they just give him certificate of return. Because they don't care. When you talk, they'll say, go to court. And they are the one that conducted the election. We have to do something about INEC, truly. Because INEC is one of the problems in this country. If really this country want to be developed, we want this country to be developed, we have to talk about this, the INEC story.
But don't you think INEC as a body may not be the problem? Maybe some persons working in INEC probably, if they are found guilty, will be the problem, because INEC as an institution has performed excellently in some of this election, and we cannot say because of the last 3 election, Kogi, Bayelsa, and then we write off INEC completely. If INEC is out of the system, then there's no democracy again.
When you say INEC are doing perfect, that is not true. They are not perfect.
I'm not, based on the rating now, we cannot condemn INEC in totality because of the last 3 elections that was
It's not because of the last 3. Even when you look at the general election, you need to understand that INEC are not doing the right thing. Because they promise people they will use beavers. People will be seeing their result online. That does not work. Or you are not aware.
But yes, I was aware. But if you remember, as at that time, they had technical issues. I'm not trying to defend them. I was able to invite a specialist in this particular field to explain to us some of the challenges INEC passed through. And these are reputable people who said they don't work for INEC, but they gave reasons why it was possible for INEC to have such a problem. Because when you are sending all the data to a particular place, definitely some may not be able to enter at a particular point in time due to network congestion and the rest of it like that. So these were reasons. I'm not here to talk for INEC, but then I don't think it will be in the best position, it will be in our best position to see that yes, we condemn the whole system of INEC. There are good people in INEC, there are people who have conducted this election successfully in other places. We applauded INEC in the Ondo election. We applauded INEC in Osun election. The FCT election, we applauded INEC. Even that of Anambra State, we applauded INEC. So we cannot just use the fact that we have issues in Kogi to generalize all the previous election conducted by INEC.
I understand what you are talking about, but let me be frank with you. INEC is one of the most problem of this election. I have my reason. If you look at Kaduna, for example, now, when they go to call PDPs, APC, they have been going to call. At last now, INEC agreed to conduct election through local government to schedule the election.
So invariably, you shouldn't have even announced the result of those particular.
Yes, for the first place, if you are not sure of something, why must you be announcing it? You'll be announcing one result because you have been given the power. It means you disrespect the power being given to you, the mandate of people. You are just announcing result, no any evidence. Now Kaduna, they said 3 local government will schedule their election out of 23 local government Kaduna State. And those 3 local government, this is the chance of PDP winning the election according to the People Democratic Party, the leadership of the party. Say they have their strong vote there. And they announce APC won there. You see all the old.
But this is a problem from probably maybe the coalition center. Is there? That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that don't you think it is good that even the state coalition officers should be able to probably query some result from local government coalition officers?
When we talk to the state coalition officer, they will tell you they are being intimidated or they are being buyed. That is what every day, every time we have been hearing. But what is the next action of line? You understand? When this thing happens, next time you should work on that so that it will not happen. But it's a continual process, it's continually happening. For what? In this state you have the same, in this thing you have the same thing, in this thing you have the same thing. So local government will tell you that this social party supposed to be the winner. How this party win? In this state the same thing. In Kano that we are talking about is the same thing they are talking about. It's because of the negligence of the INEC. No, it's not supposed to be only you every day. INEC. They have to look for credible people to conduct election. All the state coalition officer, all the local government coalition officer, you have to look for credible people that love the country, that need the country to move forward. Not for you to just call any other people, pay them to just announce this very kind of result.
But don't you? What do you think should happen to those who are found wanting in this issue of vote buying, result manipulation, whenever we are having state election, even at national level?
They need to arrest them. They need to give them a very strong warning and let the law take care of them, so that the next people will see how the law work on them. Then they will not be doing it. If not, the moment they are leaving it to go free, they always come free. That's why he always continue doing that. People are continuing doing that. They will just pay you. They will just announce a different result. Why people, this is what they voted for. But you will not give them their result, you will give them another result.
Okay, you mentioned earlier on the issue of one of the political party, that's the Action Alliance, in person of Otumba Olayinka Brimo. If you look at his own case, even, well, it is good that they should have allowed him to go and vote in his polling unit. But then, if you look at the election result as a whole, it seemed not to have support. People did not even vote for A as much as we expected.
Yeah, it's because people are thinking that if he was arrested, it means he's not credible. That arrest make the people of Kogi State look like he's no longer in the race. They discourage them. They make them look like this man is no longer in the race. You know, that is why he felt so bad. He was denied his freedom, and in that day they need his freedom. He needs his freedom. And all this election of Kogi State, he has not been going. He campaigned around the state entirely, without any fear of favor. He has a very good manifesto. You can call him in your studio and ask him about his manifesto. He will still tell you. He has a very good manifesto. He has a very good heart of his people to develop that state. I listened to the manifesto. I was impressed, because none of the candidate of any political party has his own manifesto,
including that of the PDP,
none of them, SDP, all of them. Nobody has his manifesto.
But people have also said that words are easy to say by politicians, but then the action don't actually take place when they win.
He has the mind to make that thing. He has the mind, he has the belief that he can.
But as a civil society organization, are you supposed to support a candidate for an election?
No, normally as a civil organization, everybody is our own, but we say the fact, nothing but the fact. If there is a good leadership, is our own concern. The bad leadership will always say it. That's why you see I'm talking about the general election. I'm not talking about individual party. Most of our members has their own party, but the organization has no party.
How true is it that some of the CSOs during the election were given money to also carry out their activities by politicians?
Really, I'm not aware of that, because nobody give us money. If I'm not be given money as the president of Nigeria Youth Advocates for Good Government Initiative, I don't know anybody again that will be giving money. That's why I don't believe in that. We are there to observe the election, to tell the good people of Kogi State to work and do the right thing, so that the state will be developed. That is all we came there for. That is all our advocacy is for, the good governance of every state in this country. And that's what we have been achieving, because we went, some of our members in Imo, some of them are in Bayelsa, and what we are advocating is good governance. That's why we don't need any form of manipulation from anybody. Allow the youth to vote their choice, irrespective of money, irrespective of religion, tribal differences. Let the country move forward.
Okay, thank you so much, Abdul Kadir Shaibu, National President, Nigerian Youth Advocacy for Good Governance Initiative. It's nice having you today on the program, and to also see that, yes, we hope and we pray that, yes, the system address itself and make sure that, yes, whenever election is to be conducted, they must take their their hands. They must not establish that relationship between themselves and politicians so that the election integrity will still be intact. So it's nice hearing from you. This is how far we can go today. That's Mr. Comrade Abdul Qadir Shaibu, the National President, Nigerian Youth Advocacy for Good Governance Initiative, discussing the off-cycle election is key because of the issues that are coming out or the matters arising from the election. My name is Isanu. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.